Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
A famous man is playing golf in Scotland. The golf course is beautiful, with bright green grass under a clear sky. It is a calm and peaceful day on the course. The man is here for a private visit. He is enjoying his game on the large, open field. It looks like a perfect holiday for him. But just outside the golf course, the scene is very different. Hundreds of people are gathered. They are shouting loudly and holding big signs. They are protesters, and they are angry that this man is in their country. The noise from the protest is loud. Many police officers are there to keep the protesters away from the golf resort. The famous man is Donald Trump. At the time of this story, he is the President of the United States. He is one of the most powerful people in the world. He is visiting Scotland for 5 days. This is not for official government work. He is here for his personal business. President Trump owns 2 large golf resorts in Scotland, and he is here to visit them. He plans to play golf and also open a new golf course. This visit is a problem for many people in Scotland. They do not agree with his political ideas. They are also worried about his businesses. They say his golf courses have hurt the natural environment. This story is about his visit. It started as a trip for private business, but it turned into a big national protest. People across Scotland wanted to show that they did not welcome the American president. 2. A famous visitor. It was a cool Friday evening in Scotland. A very big and famous airplane, Air Force One, came down from the sky. It landed smoothly at Prestwick Airport. This is the special airplane for the President of the United States. President Donald Trump walked out of the plane and onto Scottish ground. He was in Scotland for a 5-day visit. This was not an official trip for government work, like meeting other world leaders. It was a private visit for his business. The president is a rich businessman, and he owns 2 large, expensive golf resorts in Scotland. The main purpose of his trip was to visit these properties and play golf. When he got off the plane, a small group of people was there to greet him. They were not protesters holding angry signs. They were supporters, and they were very happy to see the American president arrive. One young boy proudly held up a sign. It said, "Welcome, Trump." Another man was waving a red, white, and blue flag. The flag had the words, "Make America Great Again," written on it. This was the president's famous slogan from his political campaign in America. One man in the group was Lee McLean. He lived in a nearby town called Kilmarnock, and he traveled to the airport just to show his support. He told a reporter that he liked President Trump very much. He said Trump was not a normal politician, but he was the most powerful man in the world. He believed the president was always working for the best interests of his country, America. For this small group of people at the airport, the president's visit was a very happy event. They offered him a friendly welcome to Scotland. After leaving the airport, President Trump traveled to his Turnberry Resort with his son, Eric Trump. The Turnberry Resort is a very famous and beautiful place. It has a luxury hotel and a world-class golf course. It is located in a part of Scotland called South Ayrshire, a peaceful area with green hills and a wonderful view of the sea. Many police officers were there to keep the area safe during his private visit. But the president was there to relax. Soon after they arrived, he and his son went out onto the bright green grass of the course. He picked up his golf club and started his first game of his trip. 3. Voices on the street. While President Trump was at his golf resort, the streets of Scotland's big cities were full of noise. In places like Edinburgh and Aberdeen, hundreds of people came together. They were not there to welcome the president. They were there to protest. They were part of a group called the Stop Trump Coalition. They were angry about his visit and wanted to show it. Many protesters held signs made of cardboard and paper. The signs had strong, simple messages. One very common sign said, "Scotland hates Trump." Another sign said, "Scotland is already great." This was a clear message about President Trump's own famous slogan. The people wanted to show that they did not agree with his ideas or his politics. The atmosphere was loud, with people shouting and chanting together. In Edinburgh, the capital city of Scotland, a large and diverse crowd gathered. They stood together outside the United States Consulate building. There were young students, older people, and families. One young woman was named Niamh. She traveled a long way from the city of Inverness to be at the protest. She was very angry. She asked why a convicted felon was allowed to come into the country to play golf. She said that the people of Scotland did not like him and did not want him there. The protests were not only in Edinburgh. In the city of Aberdeen, people planned a different and creative kind of protest. They wanted to go to Balmety Beach, which is near Trump's other golf resort. Their plan was to wait for the low tide and then write big protest messages in the wet sand for everyone to see. Many protesters were worried about nature. They were angry because President Trump's business built a golf course that damaged a special and protected natural area. They said his company broke important promises and hurt the beautiful Scottish environment. For this reason, they did not believe his new promises about protecting nature with his second golf course. For them, the golf courses were another big reason to be on the streets. The protesters were also unhappy with their own leaders. They knew that the Scottish First Minister planned to meet with President Trump. A union leader named Tommy Campbell called the protest a festival of resistance. He spoke for many people when he said the government leaders were not listening. He said they were not representing the real feelings of the people in Scotland, who were loudly showing their anger on the streets. 4. A wall of police. While many people protested in the big cities, the area around President Trump's Turnberry Golf Resort was completely different. It was quiet, but it was not a normal, peaceful place. Locals said the area was like a fortress. This means it was very protected and difficult to enter, like an old castle with high walls. There was a wall of police officers. Hundreds of police officers were there to work. They were everywhere, on the roads, on the fields, and near the resort buildings. They closed many local roads, so normal cars could not drive near the golf course. The police also had checkpoints. At these places, they stopped cars and people to check them. Some officers drove on small quad bikes and had special sniffer dogs with them. These dogs are trained to smell for dangerous things. The security was extremely strong. It was not just the Scottish police. The U.S. Secret Service was also there to protect the president. They had snipers at high, strategic places around the course. Snipers are officers with powerful guns who are trained to be very accurate from far away. Their job was to watch everything. Even regular people who paid to play golf at the resort were searched carefully by security. This big security operation was very expensive. It was expected to cost millions of dollars. The taxpayers of Scotland had to pay for all of it. This made many Scottish people angry. They said that President Trump was in Scotland for a private visit. He was there to check on his personal business, not for official government work. So many people asked, why should we pay for his private security? The Scottish Police Union also had serious concerns. A union is a group that protects and speaks for workers, like police officers. The union said that the security operation used too many officers from all over Scotland. This stretched police resources thin. It meant that there were fewer police available to help people in other towns and cities. If there was a crime or an emergency somewhere else, it might take the police much longer to arrive and help. The cost was not just money, it was also the safety of other communities. 5. A damaged place. Many years ago, Donald Trump made big promises in Scotland. He said he would build a wonderful, large resort. He promised it would create 6,000 jobs for local people. These big promises helped him get permission to build, even when people worried about the environment. But the promises were not kept. The very large resort was not built, and the many jobs did not appear. Only a golf course was finished. His first course was built in Aberdeenshire. It was on a very special piece of land near the sea. This land had beautiful sand dunes that were 4,000 years old. These dunes were important for nature and were home to rare plants. They were a wild and natural place. But the construction of the golf course changed everything. The work damaged the special dunes. The natural shapes of the land were destroyed to make the course. Because of this damage, the area lost its special status. Before the golf course, it was a protected place, a site of special scientific interest. In the year 2020, the government agency NatureScot said the area was no longer special enough for protection. The important natural features were gone. Now, President Trump is opening a second golf course in the same area. His company, Trump International, says this new course will be very good for the environment. They claim it is one of the most sustainable golf courses ever built. They say it will protect the natural landscape. However, some experts do not agree. One specialist in coastal ecology at the University of Glasgow studied the plans. He said the company's claims were silly. He said the company already had a history of making big promises and not keeping them. He believes the new course will again damage a wild sand area. Another expert said that recent problems at the first course show the company does not respect Scotland's natural places. It seems the problems with the environment have not stopped even as a new course opens. 6. A mother from Scotland. Donald Trump has a strong personal connection to Scotland because his mother was from here. Her name was Mary Ann MacLeod. She grew up on the Isle of Lewis, a small island in the Outer Hebrides. Her first language was Scottish Gaelic, not English. When she was 18 years old, she moved to America to start a new life, and later met Trump's father in New York. President Trump often talks about his Scottish family history. He is opening a second golf course at his resort in Aberdeenshire. To show his connection to Scotland, he named this new course after his mother. It is called the MacLeod Course. But this action did not make everyone happy. In fact, it made some of his own relatives angry. Janet MacLeod Trotter is a distant relative of the president. She traveled to the city of Edinburgh to join the protesters. She stood in the street with a sign that said, "MacLeod's against Trump." She believes he is using his family name for his own business and not in a good way. She says that many people with the MacLeod name are upset with him. Janet explained why she was protesting. She said that Trump talks about his mother but does not help the people from her home. He doesn't do anything to help the people of Lewis, she told reporters. She thinks he only visits Scotland to build his golf courses and make money for himself, not to support the local communities. Back on the Isle of Lewis, people also protest. A woman put up a big sign that said, "Shame on you, Donald John." This very personal message sounds like a mother speaking to her son who has behaved badly. For these people, just using his mother's name is not a sign of respect. They feel he does not truly care about his Scottish family or the country. 7. Two sides of the story. President Trump's visit to Scotland is not only for playing golf. He is also there for official business. While many people protest outside, he has important meetings scheduled inside his resort. This shows two very different sides of his visit. One part of his trip is about politics and business. He plans to meet with important European leaders. One of these leaders is Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission. They will meet at the Turnberry Resort to talk about trade between the United States and Europe. President Trump says there is a chance to make a big business deal, but there are still many things to discuss. He is also expected to meet with the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and Scotland's First Minister, John Swinney. These are very official meetings. But the protesters on the streets are very angry about this. They do not want their leaders to welcome President Trump. The protest organizers are not happy. One organizer, Tommy Campbell, said that the leaders are not listening to the Scottish people. He believes the leaders' meetings with Trump do not show how most people in Scotland feel. The protesters think that meeting with him is wrong. So we see two different Scotlands. Outside the high-security fences, there is a Scotland of loud protests and angry signs. People are on the streets, shouting to be heard. Inside the private rooms of the golf resort, there is another Scotland. Here, leaders are shaking hands and talking quietly about government business. One side is public and full of emotion. The other is private and political. This division creates a lot of tension. Many people who are protesting feel that their government is ignoring them. They see their leaders meeting with a man they strongly oppose, while their own voices are kept outside the gates. The protesters see a president they believe has damaged the environment and his own family's country. But inside, the political leaders see a powerful head of state and an important business partner for Europe and Britain. These two very different views of President Trump show a deep conflict in the country during his visit. It is like two different stories are happening in the same place at the same time. 8. The end of the visit. President Trump's 5-day visit to Scotland is now over. His plane, Air Force One, takes off from the airport and leaves the country behind. This short trip showed the big conflict between business, politics, and the people of Scotland. For 5 days, there were two different stories. One story was about a president playing golf on his private courses and having official meetings with important leaders. The other story was about hundreds of people on the streets. They held signs and shouted that they were not happy with his visit. Now that he is gone, the arguments do not stop. People in Scotland are still talking about everything that happened. They discuss the high cost of security. Many think it was wrong for Scottish people to pay millions of dollars for a private business trip. The police were very busy, and some people worried this was not a good use of their time. People also continue to talk about the environment. They are concerned about the damage to the special sand dunes and other natural places near his golf courses. These discussions are in homes, in newspapers, and online. This story of President Trump's relationship with Scotland is not finished. He will return to the United Kingdom in just a few months, in September. He will have another important visit and will be a guest of King Charles III at Windsor Castle. So the arguments and protests will probably start again. The visit is over for now, but the questions about its true cost and its effect on Scotland remain. If a world leader visited your country for a private business trip, do you think the public should pay for their security? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.